We go to a lost Cliff Richard television performance from 1958 because it's been found on a farm belonging to a Blackpool fairground owner. Now, Cliff's appearance on ITV's programme Oh Boy is now the oldest existing television footage of the singer.
It's part of a number of discoveries revealed today by the Kaleidoscope archive, who tracked down missing TV episodes. Their latest haul includes 2 Top of the Pops from 1975 and Blondie's UK TV debut. Our entertainment correspondent Colin Paterson has been watching.
Unseen for almost 60 years. The oldest surviving TV footage of an 18-year-old Cliff Richard. ITV's Oh Boy from 1958, recently found by a Blackpool fairground owner selling off his father's television print collection. The whole episode will be part of Pop Discoveries in London, an event showcasing recently unearthed music TV programmes, including the 600th episode of Top of the Pops from October 1975, with Sparks.
You had sense, you had style, you had cash galore.
It was destroyed, but a copy's been found by the widow of a former BBC engineer and includes a performance by Bruce Forsyth.
She's a great little housewife, though sometimes she talks like a fool.
This single, Sandra, missed the charts. Unlike another new find, a second Top of the Pops from 1975 has T-Rex performing New York City with a dancing frog.
Did you ever see a woman coming from New York City with a frog in her hand?
And the quality may not be great, but Blondie's UK TV debut has also emerged on a VHS tape, part of the late Tony Wilson's archive at the Museum of Science and Industry in Manchester.
Blondie, take it away.
1, 2, 3.
In 1977, he invited them to perform on the local news.
Hey! Here she comes now.
The TV archive organisation Kaleidoscope, who are curating the event, hope these finds will lead others to have a rummage in their attic and unearth more lost pop performances. Colin Paterson, BBC News.
Well, Chris Perry is the expert. He's from Kaleidoscope TV. You discovered these amazing things. It's a wonderful bit of nostalgia for some people old enough to remember, but it is fantastic, isn't it? So we got tapes here from 1958.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's incredible, really, where these things turn up from, actually. I mean, I've been doing this for about 30 years now, looking for lost TV programmes, off and on. It's not really a day job, it's more of a kind of a sideline.
How do you go searching for stuff that could be anywhere, like in the back of someone's garage or in a loft somewhere? What do you do? Get in touch with people, put yourself out there? How do you get these things?
I mean, originally, it was a bit like that. You know, you talk to somebody in a pub and they mention something and you say to them, oh, that's actually missing, you know. It all really started from wanting to know what was missing to begin with, because people always assume that everything has been kept by television, you know. And so the first thing we had to do was put together some kind of database as to what actually was missing. And then once you know that, you can kind of get the message out there through various campaigns like the British Film Institute's Missing Believed Wiped and ITV's Redders of the Lost Archives, and we have a website which tells people if it's missing or not. And so gradually you build that picture up. It is. I've done it many times before, a kind of 50 top shows that people are looking for, you know, and gradually over the years, some of those turn up and some of them don't. And you just keep digging, really. It's a bit like being an archaeologist.
Do you want to talk us through this find? So this is at a farm. So just how does this latest one come about?
Yeah, the Oh Boy, I say, it starts in a typical way, as in someone emails us and says, you know, there's a film collector that wants to sell off their collection. They've got a lot of TV prints, they want to get rid of them. Are you interested in buying them? So I go up there to talk about things like Z cars and Zeta Black with Dudley Moore on it. And whilst I'm there and I'm buying things like the Z cars and the other film prints, I just noticed this guy's got the Oh Boy sitting on his shelf. And I said to him, well, do you want to sell that as well? And he said, well, I don't know much about it, and my dad bought that 40 years ago. So I said, yeah, OK, well, we'll take a punt on it. We'll buy it off you. And maybe it's missing, maybe it isn't. We don't know. So we bring it back and we run it and we see who's on it. And then I contacted the Cliff Richard Appreciation Society and said, is it important or not? And they went ballistic and said, it's fantastic. It's the fun of the century. It's incredible. rest is history.
Tell us about some other bits that you found, because Blondie as well, an original VHS tape found at a museum.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Granada Reports went through a phase when Tony Wilson was its kind of arts correspondent of running a lot of new bands, particularly punk bands, disco acts and things like that in the late 70s. And ITV didn't actually keep any of them at all. I mean, because it was kind of regional news, people didn't think it was really worth keeping for posterity. But the bands would sometimes keep things. And Tony Wilson himself kept stuff. And when he died, he gave his collection to the Museum of Science and Industry here in Manchester. So it sat there for 20, 30 years in our archive. And then eventually one of our researchers, a guy called Mike Morton, contacted them and said, I'm doing a book, you know, about... And he knows Blondie well, he knows Debbie Harry. And he said, you know, we'd love to find this. Is there any chance that you've got some of these old Granada Reports? And they came back and said, yes, actually, we've got some, but we don't know what they are. So then we had to actually go and look at the old tapes, you know, and actually see what they were. And there it was, Blondie.
Can I ask that? I mean, some lyrics in the music world stand the test of time, don't they? But our attention was drawn to Bruce Forsyth, who we saw a clip of in that piece, and I'll just repeat it now if anyone missed it. The lyrics of that song, whatever it's called, was, "She's a great little housewife, but sometimes she talks like a fool."
Though sometimes she talks like
How about that? When was that? Do you know when?
1975.
1975.
October 1975. That
Is that the title of the song?
I don't know what the title of the song is. It's quite ironic you've got me on here talking about pop programmes because I'm the least kind of knowledgeable person about pop music. I might go and find the programmes, but I need other people to tell me if the songs are important or not.
You spoke about your wish list. What's still on the wish list that you'd really love to discover or love to find?
I've been very lucky, I have to say, over the years with what we found. I mean, last year we found a missing episode of The Avengers, which is a great series that people love, you know, and we found things like Z-Cars and Dr. Finley's Casebook, and many of those programmes are now out on DVD again. That's the great satisfaction you have. You can go into a shop and you can see that someone can buy something that you found, sometimes, you know, almost off a tip. I think most people would love to find science fiction. That's the thing that most people are going to talk about, things like the kind of Doctor Who's of this world, or Out of It.
But they'd all still be kept, wouldn't they? The Doctor Who's, wouldn't they?
Well, I mean, TV as a medium, I sometimes compare it to tins of baked beans. If you go into your supermarket, you know, there are hundreds of tins of baked beans on those shelves, and so you never think you're going to run out of baked beans because you can always see a lot of them. And what actually happens is, of course, they all get eaten. And then you come back, and if they stop production suddenly, there are no more tins of baked beans because everyone's been eaten. And that was TV in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. People just recorded it and moved on, you know, and didn't think about keeping it. And so you think to yourself, well, in theory, it should be out there, because if you can find a glass vase that's 2,000 years old, you know, in Egypt, you should be able to find something made 30 years ago.
Chris, thank you very much. It's fascinating. A lot of people love it. The Pop Discoveries event takes place at BFI South Bank in July. Who'd have thought we'd end up talking about beans?
Yeah.